What's going on, everyone? Aaron Murray, Jackson Muschamp join you right now, live TPL. Appreciate everyone joining us here this afternoon. Talk a little Georgia football, talk about the offseason, a little bit as well for just a couple, offseason moves for Georgia. This roster goes into the offseason. Man, Jackson, appreciate you jumping on. I know you guys are on break right now, giving us some time to kind of chat with us.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for having me on. It's definitely nice to get, I guess, kind of a week off before school starts back up. But yeah, it's just good to get a little break, and I appreciate you having me on.
All right, so make sure everyone in the chat, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then also put your questions in the chat. We'll get to some questions throughout the show here this afternoon and kind of break it all down. So first off, you got in the game. I mean, what were the emotions before that you got that number called to go in there?
Yeah, well, obviously, I was just really excited and felt really grateful to be able to get in there for just a couple plays. It was also really cool to kind of be in there with some walk-ons that I came in with, like Chris Brown and Cade Brock and some of those guys. So it was really just a cool moment for all of us. And of course, I was just happy and thrilled to be able to get in there for just a couple plays.
What was the initial reaction after? I guess I would go first of going back to the sideline, like seeing your dad, and obviously we've all seen the videos of how pumped he was, and all the emotion. Like, I mean, that's a really very few people get to experience that where you're on the team with your dad as a coach, and obviously getting to see him day in and day out. Like, how did that make that moment even sweeter to be able to enjoy it with your dad there on the sideline?
Yeah, well, I think it was just a special moment. Like I said, I mean, not a lot of people, first off, get to play college football, are fortunate
Yep.
enough to get in for a couple of plays. Second off, not a lot of people are fortunate enough to have their dad, on the sideline and kind of being able to be with them on that journey every single day. And just the amount of people that reached out to me, just after one run was incredible. And I felt very fortunate to have people just reach out to me and say, "Hey, that was pretty cool to see that," and then see your dad's reaction on the sideline. So it was just a special moment, and it's something that I'll definitely remember for the rest of my life, and it was just really cool.
All right, as you kind of sit back and think about that game, God, it was only a few days ago. It seems like it's been a
Yeah.
week plus now. It was just the other day that we were all down there in Miami. Uh, what were the anticipations? I know Georgia talks about the culture and the focus, and hey, we're here to dominate, we're here to kick butt. But really, what went into that mental preparation for a bowl game? Because it's kind of like Georgia's got to the point where it is, hey, we're a playoff team, and it almost feels like playoff or bust. This wasn't a playoff game, but it looked like you guys almost treated it like that, kind of the intensity on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like everybody knows, I think we all wish that we were in the playoff, obviously. But at the end of the day, look, we had a great bowl game to play in and a great team to play against, and kind of our motto going into that game was to finish and finish for your brother next to you, finish for the senior class, which ended up being the winningest class in UJ history, which is really special to be a part of. And I think at the end of the day, everybody just kind of bought into that message. They wanted to finish for UGA. They wanted to finish for their teammates and everybody that they came in with. And it was just really cool to be a part of a strong finish. And I think we finished the right way.
Yeah, it was good to see some of the young guys play too, finish
Yeah,
strong. But you talk about like getting to go out there with some guys that some walk-on guys, some freshmen to go out there and play, guys that maybe haven't played all season, kind of get a
yeah.
little bit of a taste of like what the future is going to look like. You know the roster, you know the players. You've worked with a lot of these guys on scout team. Who personally for you, obviously besides your nice little run, selfishly, but who have you worked with or were most like excited to see get their opportunity, get there with significant playing time? Like, was there one guy that you're like, oh my God, so and so's out there that
Yeah.
kind of caught your attention a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, it was a lot of guys. And,
Yeah.
I feel like if I start saying names, I'll leave, too many people out. But obviously being able to be out there with, a lot of the guys that are on scout team every week and, sacrificing themselves and sacrificing putting all the work and not being able to play a lot. And being able to go out there and play just for a couple of plays, I know it meant a lot to them. It meant a lot to me to be out there and kind of share that moment with them. because on scout team, we have a lot of great players that make plays every day in practice that aren't necessarily, seen every day. So it
Mhm.
was cool just to be out there with all those guys and share that moment with them.
All right, so obviously Georgia's roster's changed significantly since that game.
Yeah.
Some guys hit the portal before, some guys have declared for the draft, like McConkey and Bowers. What point do you like? Is any of this a secret to the players, like when it gets announced, or do you guys kind of have a know internally, like, okay, these are some of the guys that we anticipate are going to be on the roster come next season?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny. People have asked me that question before, and at least at Georgia, I don't know if it's different other places, but we don't really focus on that type of stuff. At the end of the day, like Coach Smart preaches every day, just control what you can control.
Mhm.
Let's go into this game and kind of handle the things that we can, and we're going to go out there regardless of who we have playing, who we have leaving, who we have staying, and it's not going to matter because at the end of the day, it's all about us and who we have on that field. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's something that we don't really focus on too much, and it's not something that's really talked about too much in the locker room, and which I think is really healthy for a locker room.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it looked like you guys were pretty focused and not worried about all the extracurriculars off the field and more focused on playing in that game.
Yeah,
Someone who did take advantage of someone leaving, though, obviously Brock Vandegrift, you're in the quarterback room. Brock
yeah,
goes to Kentucky, gave Gunner an opportunity to obviously get some more snaps in practice. Gunner's opportunity to go out there and play more than he's played the entire season. You're with him. Like, what in your mind? Like, we all know about Carson. We know how good Carson is, but like, when you see Gunner day to day as a third string guy, a guy that probably doesn't get a lot of reps, probably does some scout team work with yourself. Like, what have you seen from him that you saw in practice that then translated into the game the other day that you're like, damn, that's like finally he's getting his chance to go out there and shine a little bit.
yeah. Well, I think the first thing I'll say about Gunner is that he's just a really hard worker. Definitely one of the hardest workers on the team. I'm his roommate, so I definitely kind of see it every day. But I mean, he's a guy that just comes in and works every single day and makes plays. He doesn't care who gets the credit. He wants to be the best teammate possible and the best friend possible. And it was really cool to see him kind of go out there and make the plays that he did. And I don't think it surprised anybody on our team, kind of seeing the way that he works and the way that he attacks and competes every day. And it was cool to just see him go out there and make some plays. And he wasn't running out of bounds for sure. I mean, he was
No.
he was sticking his face
Uh-uh.
in there.
No,
He's tough.
there's a couple of runs just in general from Georgia, from even Oscar trying to hurdle someone. They're like, these dudes trying to go out here and make some highlights. That's for damn sure.
Right, for sure.
Uh, I selfishly need to know this one. How was it working with Bobo all year?
Oh, it was great. It was
Yeah.
great. I mean, obviously, like, better than anybody. He's, I mean, outstanding coach, great coach, but he's just a better person.
Mhm.
And before some of our quarterback meetings, he would kind of sit in there and just ask us like how our day was going. Like after Christmas, he asked us like, what our best like gift was. After Thanksgiving, he asked us what we're most thankful for. Just things like that really go a long way. And he taught me a lot about football, but he also taught me a lot about just being a good man and being a good person. So I mean, it was just great playing for him.
It's such a funny because the offensive staff, the majority of the offensive staff was there when I was there. I mean, that was over a
Yeah,
decade ago. But like
yeah,
the whole room, I've talked to Miss Ann, who's like the main secretary for
yep,
Coach, Kirby Smart, and at times she jokes with me like, "Man, it feels like a frat house in here with Bobo and Kirby and Muschamp, and then you got Searles, and it's a wild house." Like, do you see because like we know like it's a grind, like it's a grind for the players, but it's a
yeah,
really and you get to see it personally too because of your dad of like how much work goes into being a coach at a program like Georgia. But do you
yeah.
see like that frat camaraderie, joking, working relationship between the coaches and kind of how cool it is to see those guys interact with each other?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like you said, being a college football coach is a lot of work, but also, like you said, all these guys kind of knowing each other, coaching with each other in the past, playing with each other, going to college with each other, and being able to hang out there. You can definitely tell that they're having a lot of fun doing it, and just walking through the hallways and seeing them and seeing the way that they interact with each other is definitely special. And I don't know if there's a lot of places around the country that have guys, this many people, guys that that played with each other in college, that have coached with each other in the past, and it's cool to just kind of see that camaraderie and them bust jokes with each other and whatever else every once in a while.
Yeah, it's and knowing those guys' personalities, I'm sure there's a lot of busting balls throughout that
Oh
locker
yeah,
room and that coaches meetings.
oh
Go to
yeah,
the chat real quick. Caleb Huff, obviously, Carson's go-to guys, and rightfully so. Brock, when Brock was healthy, and then you saw when Ladd was healthy, Ladd was that go-to guy as well. Obviously, going to be some change at the skill position, but based on kind of what you've seen, not giving away any trade secrets here, but like who could emerge as that real go-to guy in your opinion this
yeah.
offseason for Carson?
Yeah, well, obviously, there's going to be a lot of guys. There's going to be a lot of weapons. I think a younger guy that definitely comes to mind is Anthony Evans. I mean, he's a guy that comes in and practices so hard. I mean, every single day, makes plays every day. He's another guy that just doesn't care, gets the credit. He's a great teammate and a great guy. And he's definitely a guy on offense that comes to mind. And obviously, you've seen it over the last couple games, the type of plays that he's been able to make. So that's definitely one that comes to mind.
Nice. Oscar to get Oscar. I'm excited for Lawson as well. Lawson Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I think.
Oscar and Lawson are two guys, and also Pierce Burlin, another guy in
Yep.
the tight end room, are guys
I
that
didn't realize
work.
Pierce could run like that. A little string
Yeah,
bean self sprinting down the sideline.
yeah. I mean, he's big and tall for sure, but he's definitely a great athlete, and he's just a really good guy too. So they all work really hard. Coach Hartley's obviously in there pushing them really hard every day. I mean, he's on them in every sprint, every drill, whatever it is. So they're definitely going to work hard, and I'm definitely excited to see what those guys do as well.
I want to go back to the coaching thing real quick because it just the who you are and you kind of getting behind the scenes look of what it's like to be a coach. Just seeing your dad. Is there any interest in your life of being a coach? Like, is that something that has turned you off from seeing kind of what they do, or is it kind of been like, man, I love that lifestyle. I love being a part of the game. Like, do you see yourself coaching later on when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it. Obviously, I've been surrounded by football my entire life, and I mean, shoot, I've been on a team ever since I was
Yeah.
born, being around my dad's teams, being on my own teams, things like that. Obviously, being a coach, you have to move around a lot. But at the end of the day, like when I was a kid, I loved doing that. I loved moving to new places and getting to meet new people and things like that. It is a lot of work. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm definitely keeping coaching in mind 100% just because of just being around football my whole life and things like that.
So there are some positives, and I'm trying to internally figure out because I've talked to my wife before, like, do I want to get into coaching eventually one day?
Yeah.
And you think so much about the negatives of like all the hard work, all the hours. You do think of the positives, like the impact you make, for like a guy like you for you to be as a kid, be on the sidelines or in the locker room or get behind the scenes, like that has to be really cool. But maybe kind of shared first, like what were the difficulties, like as a kid growing up, knowing that your dad was, coaching all these other guys or being away from home. Like it has to be a little bit of a struggle, the positives and negatives. Like, how did you, looking back and now, like weigh those positive and negatives of being a coach's son? And maybe that how shapes what you want to do going forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being a coach's family, I mean, you better have your furniture on wheels, because you're going to be moving around a lot. But, I was really fortunate growing up to live in a lot of great places and be surrounded by a lot of great people. And, when I was little, I thought it was whenever we're moving to a new place and going to be associated with a new team, I always thought it was cool to kind of like have the new gear and, meet some of like the star players of whatever new team that we were going to. So I definitely always enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed being around the locker room, meeting the guys, learning as much as I could from anybody where I was. So those are things that definitely come to mind at first. But it obviously is a lot of moving. I think I've moved before I was in college. I think I moved 6 or 7 times, which is a lot. But it was something that I embraced and I honestly like really enjoyed. And I don't know if I'd be the person I am today without those experiences.
Favorite place to live, favorite team that your dad coached, and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I guess I have to say Georgia, obviously, because I played there. It's going to be my favorite team forever.
Before, don't, I'm not going to let you take the easy one here. Before your dad coached here, before you
Before,
played here, your favorite location.
um, Well, I was obviously really
Florida,
little, but
South Carolina?
yeah, I was obviously really little, but Austin was a really cool place to live when he was at
Yep.
Texas. Really like that. Then I'm also kind of biased because I went to high school there. But I'd also have to say Columbia. I mean, Columbia is a great
Mhm.
place. I'm in Columbia right now, hanging out with some of my high school friends and things like that. So I'd probably say Columbia and Austin. Besides that, obviously Athens is
Yeah.
number one. But
Yeah.
I'd probably say those.
Do you feel like your dad's at home a little bit here too? Like a sense of, because I always get asked, I personally get asked the question, like, all these great coaches on Georgia, like they're gonna stay together. I'm like, dude, like I think they truly love being in Athens. It's home for them. So like can you sense your dad, I guess the right word, being at peace, being in Athens? Like you can just sense maybe a different personality from previous spots for him.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, he's really familiar with everybody here. I mean, like you said, he knows all the coaches. I mean, even the administration that was here when he was here. And then also he's kind of, in more of a backseat role here. Not being a head coach. There's not, the constant stress and everyday pressures of being a head coach and all the responsibilities. So I think he's kind of taken a step back and has kind of enjoyed the role that he's in a lot right now. And yeah, I think he's just having a lot of fun with it and just enjoys kind of where he is right now. And I think he definitely feels home 100%, just being familiar with everybody in the building. I mean, I think there's some academic people that are still here that were here when he was in college, and so
Yeah.
stuff like that's really cool for him to see too, I think.
I forgot the exact number because I had you guys first week of the season, but I remember Claude Felton gave us a stat of like, I think it's mid 20s, if not low 30s, of coaches slash front office people that went to Georgia. And it just shows you kind of, how Kirby's built the entire staff of people that love Athens, that want to be in Athens, that can sell
Yeah.
Athens. And obviously it's paying dividends with the way that you guys have been playing on the field. Go back to the chat real quick. Zach wants to know, how pumped is everyone when y'all saw that schedule of saying like, hey, we're going to Tuscaloosa, we're going to Austin? Like, was there how much? I know it was like kind of during the season, so it's kind of hard to focus on the future. But as you talk
Yeah.
to guys about kind of the new look SEC and what this future schedule looks like how excited should the players be to kind of take on some new challenges?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's going to be a lot of challenges. I mean, you look at the schedule, what we go to Texas,
Yep,
to uh,
Tuscaloosa,
Tuscaloosa.
to
I
Oxford
mean,
too, I think.
yep, to Oxford. I mean, there's going to be a lot of challenges, and it's going to be a really good game every week and a tough challenge every week. But I know that Georgia will definitely be prepared for it. But it's definitely going to be a unique experience now for fans. I feel like it's something that college football hasn't seen before, and it's going to be unique and new and fun. It's going to bring a lot of kind of passionate fan bases together. I think that's going to be really cool. I mean, when we go to Texas and Tuscaloosa and things like that, I think that's going to be new and unique. But at the end of the day, it's really just kind of new challenges and bigger challenges every single week. And when you come to Georgia, that's what you sign up to do, to play in big games and perform well. So I think everybody's going to be really excited about it.
All right, one more football one. I'm going to get a couple quick hitter personal ones here. Appreciate everyone jumping in the chat here on what is today? Wednesday afternoon,
Thursday,
Thursday afternoon. Ever
Thursday. Yep.
since the new year, man, my head's spinning. What the hell day it is? So Thursday afternoon. Um, you've been in that meeting room with some good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What's been what are the differences? What are the similarities between Stetson and Carson, and kind of how you've seen those guys kind of day to day and get to where they've gotten to?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, both of them, I think they've got to where they are today with just hard work and really just kind of a persistent work ethic. I mean, both of them were guys that didn't necessarily, I guess, get their shot early, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't care what other people had to say. They didn't care how they were perceived by anybody outside of our building, and kind of seeing them push through that is something that I learned a lot from. I've learned a lot from both of them, and I would just say kind of the consistent work ethic that they both put in, their ability to see the game and slow things down. I mean, both of them have a unique ability, I feel like, to look very smooth and kind of almost make it look easy out there when it is not easy. playing quarterback in the SEC. And so just their work ethic and the way that they attacked every day, and just the way that they treated me and the rest of the guys on the team. Just things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, both awesome. Carson's just I've been such a fan of him for a while now.
Yeah. Baller.
It is. Where would you put him in quarterbacks you've seen, like in person? Like you've seen a lot of guys at the previous stops, as with your dad. His skill set, like, is there anyone that he reminds you of if you've seen up close?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think Carson just has that ability to make it look so easy and make it look
Yeah,
so effortless when it's not at all. I mean, it is hard to sitting there in the pocket when you have 6 people rushing you, running twists, stunts, when they're running a, disguise coverage behind it. And, he never gets fooled, and he never gets, you know, knocked off of balance mentally. And he's always, just locked in, and just makes it look so easy. So I don't know. I mean, he just has that like almost a Tom Brady ability to make it look so effortless and so easy, which is really cool to see every day in
yeah.
practice.
He can spin it now, and he's a
Yeah.
big joker too. Like when people
He
see him in
is.
person,
He
probably
is.
people realize like he's thick. Like he's all a
Yeah.
6'4", 225, 230, like thick. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
yeah, he
he's
looks the
a big
part.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get a little way. So obviously, people think of you, they think of football, they think of you playing or your dad coaching, but like off the field. Let's take you away from the field. Like who are you off besides football? Take away football. Who are you as a
Yeah.
person? What are your interests?
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I think I like to just hang out with my friends and family. Make meaningful relationships with people. I like to hunt, fish, do things like that in my free time. I mean, yeah, I mean that I don't know. That's really about it. I'm definitely not too like interesting of a person. I just kind of like to spend time
Good
with my
old
friends
country
and
boy.
family.
Love football, hunting, and fishing.
Yeah, for sure.
Having a couple beers with the boys. There we go.
Just hanging out, yeah, having a good time.
Um, so what does the next few months look like for you? Like kind of what are you up to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I graduate in May. I had a good last 4 years at Georgia. I think I'm hanging up the cleats. Had a wonderful experience here. Don't think like, if I ended up transferring anywhere, that I'd be able to beat the last 4 years I've had here. So, going to try to graduate at the end of this spring, and start the job process, and trying to find somebody that will hire me.
What's the one thing you'll miss the most? Like if this is it for football, like what is your life has been surrounded by this game? Like what is the one or two things that you'll be sitting in an office somewhere thinking like, damn, like I missed this and this?
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, just easily just the relationships and the camaraderie in the locker room. I mean, obviously, my time at Georgia, I was really fortunate to be on a team that won a lot of games, won 2 national championships, and of course, I'll remember that. But to me, the reason that makes a championship so special is because of the work that you put in through the season. I mean, if you just played some random game, lined it up, and called it a championship, it would have no meaning and no purpose.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, when you win a championship, it's because of all the hard work that you put in, and because of all the adversity that you're able to fight through. And just going to work every day with my teammates, I think I'll remember the most, because the work that we put in led to a lot of success. So I'll probably just remember the times in the locker room and going to work every day.
Last one for you talk about looking for a job. Like is your dad or Kirby not trying to hint it at you just being a GA? Has that not been brought to the dinner table yet?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him about it with him. With him too much about it. I'm still definitely trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. Thinking about maybe getting into some sports business. So I'm still trying to figure it out. But if those conversations are come up, then we'll figure it out from there.
Hey, you'd be great in there. Just it's the time to do it. I'm telling you, don't be like me with a bunch of kids thinking about going to coaching. It's a little bit too late for me now. So get it while you're young and can be in an office for 20, 21 hours and just kind of disappear and just do football. So
Yeah, yeah, long hours for sure.
long hours of J, man. Well, Jackson, man, appreciate you jumping on with us this afternoon. Appreciate everyone joining us. Hit the like button, hit that thumbs up, go subscribe. We're going to be starting a lot of new content next week. We have our freshman series coming out. We'll be sitting down with all those mid-year freshmen to kind of get their story, why they chose Georgia, how they got into football, their interests, all that good stuff. And obviously our current player shows as well get going next week when the guys get back on campus. So appreciate all the love and support. And once again, man, good luck going the forward. And we will always remember that nice run there in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. It was great to talk to you about all this stuff, and hopefully I get to see you back in Athens soon.
Oh, I'll be in Athens, baby. You can't keep me away from Athens, so you'll see
Can't
me
keep
there.
Them away. Can't keep them
It's
away.
in the blood, man. It is in the blood. So we will see you guys again next week with some more content here on the Players Lounge.